Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow.
Welcome back to another episode of Lone Star College Football. We've got our way too early Big 12 standings video for y'all. Got Jason from Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. Y'all make sure, listen, he does Oklahoma stuff, and I know he just lost a lot of y'all. But if you're a fan of college football and you want a good podcast, he goes live pretty often. He's very interactive with the chat, and he covers other stuff. He covers conference realignment, he covers some things on Colorado, recruiting. He if you want to be in the know,
I
of
hate
college
Texas
football,
less lately than the rest of the Big 12. So if you're a Texas fan,
yeah, there you go. There's your reason. Let's jump on into this. We're going to start with Texas. All right, let's do it week by week. Obviously, Texas and Oklahoma, like we were just talking about, they're in a prime position for the conference this year.
Yeah.
And last year, when you looked at the Big 12, you kind of thought, man, the Big 12 kind of has some depth. TCU was up, Kansas State was up, Texas was up, and then ironically at that time, Oklahoma was down. Baylor had a bad bounce back year. And this year, it seems like it's a little bit different. It seems like there's a clear what should be the top of the pack.
I kind of feel like that's maybe is this the hangover of COVID where you had those super seniors with TCU. I mean,
Yeah.
I think we both agree that TCU had a lot of 25-year-olds playing, and so now they're gone. That all those guys are pretty much, they changed out most of their program as far as like starters are concerned. And then look at what happened with Okie Light and Baylor, and I feel like Baylor should be good, but I don't know. You know what I mean? So
TCU had a thing with their super seniors, but also the transfer portal. And you're going to see a lot more teams. The more you hit the transfer portal, the more you're going to see those one-hit wonder teams, because it's going to be difficult to maintain success when you're not recruiting that success in. But let's start with Texas. Week 1, as Josh Pate, for anybody who's ever watched the Late Kick Show with Josh Pate, we play food week 1. We got rice at home. You don't lose to food. He does. You don't lose to food. Rice is an easy win. Nobody's going to argue that. If we lose to rice, I'm just going to quit watching college football altogether.
The show is over after that? Is that what happens?
The show would be over for a while. I don't know. It would take, unless we beat Bama in week 2, it would take me a while to come back and make another video if we lost to rice.
I can see that.
So let's just start with Alabama. Obviously, we're traveling on the road. I think they've got the point spread at like 9.5. Bama, obviously.
That's a way too early point spread, but okay.
Yeah. Do I think we could win that game? I mean, I can't tell you that we can't win that game after the way we played them last year.
You should win that game. If you're going to beat Alabama ever, this is the time to do it.
Well, last year was the time to do it. But this year is the next best thing because let
me tell you why. In Tuscaloosa is one thing, but the reason I'm saying that is they've got a new quarterback, and new coordinators on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
And I don't know that anybody thinks a whole lot of these new quarterbacks, but I'm going to tell you, Tommy Rees, bro, as the offensive coordinator, I'm not. I think this is the time. At least they had Bryce Young last year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Bama's kind of one of those. Does offensive coordinator really matter when you're running Nick Saban's scheme?
Nick Saban's offense either way. Yeah.
And here's the thing: Jalen Milroe, Texas fans, y'all should be very familiar with him. He was committed to Texas. When Quinn Ewers committed to Texas, he decommitted and went to Alabama, and then obviously Quinn ended up decommitting.
Does he have the job though? Is he for sure going to have this job?
I think so. Okay.
All right.
Here's the reason. Here's the thing, though. They're not just losing Bryce Young. They're not just losing. They're also losing their starting running back, Jahmyr Gibbs. They are losing. I think they're 125th on returning production out of 131 FBS teams. They are 125th. Now
again, though, Bama, they also recruit at the top of the heat
because they recruit so well.
Year after year.
Talent.
Yes.
And we're playing in Tuscaloosa. I have this game as a loss for Texas, mainly because until I see it, how can I give us a win on the road? our thing is playing worse on the road.
Right.
I don't see how I can just way too early predict. No, come summer ball, Quinn Ewers is out there throwing the ball like a Heisman quarterback, maybe. But right
How does
now,
it look right
I have
now?
us.
How's it been looking right now? I've been meaning to ask you that. They look good.
Yeah, so far, Coach Sark has talked about like this competition through spring ball. I think most of us think that it's going to be Quinn no matter what. Malik Murphy was kind of taking a step back on some injury things with his ankle. So Arch Manning has been taking uh, 2 reps, his second team reps, until yesterday when Malik came back. So I think Quinn's got it. He seems to be more physical, more vocal as a leader. I think he's going to take some
Cut
steps
the
forward.
mullet off.
He did. He cut the mullet off. So we'll see. We'll see. Wyoming. I don't predict us to have problems with Wyoming.
No.
Isaiah Nayor, he came from there. He's going to get to play. Hopefully, he'll be healthy for his old team. They're not really a school that you have too much concern with. A lot of these schools aren't. But
Most of the
getting into
Mountain West
conference,
doesn't get too concerned with Wyoming.
right, right. Moving on, you just stop me if you disagree.
Go
Baylor,
ahead.
Logan, I appreciate you, bud. I think Baylor should take a step, a good step even. You'll see whenever we get there. But I don't think that I think Blake Shapen will be better. I don't think your offense is going to be good enough. I think our defense. What did we really lose? We
I
lost
think
to
they have a
Mario.
great running game. I think that my
Yeah,
worry
Richard
about
Reese.
them is that I think my worry with Baylor is that I'm not positive that their defense is going to be any better. If Ika's
No,
not in the lineup next year, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I'm positive that their
To
defense is going to be worse. I'm positive on that because it's
see, I don't
Siaki
know.
Ika that they lost, but it's also Dylan Doyle, their best linebacker, who also, to be fair,
Yeah,
lined up as fullback and scored touchdowns on offense.
that's pretty
Like
awesome.
they're missing,
That's how
they're
bad they
losing
were
some
last
pieces.
year, though, and they
Yeah.
still beat Oklahoma.
Now, but like you said, Richard Reese is electric, and if Baylor goes out there
Yeah.
and gets the run game going, and we can't stop it, although I will say last year our thing was kind of we only had 2 running backs break 100 on us all year.
Gary's still around, right?
No, Gary stepped away. Gary stepped down, yeah. But
Ooh.
he said in an interview, he said he's stepping down to spend time with his family, and he said if the football season comes around and he has an itch to coach, that he hopes Coach Sark would have him back. Which means if he wants to coach, Coach Sark's going to have him back. But Gary Patterson's not with the program anymore.
I didn't even know that. When did this happen?
Oh yeah, a couple weeks
That's
ago.
freaking awesome. I need to do a
We
video
should have
about
posted
this.
a video about that. We didn't do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been slow 2 months. It gets interesting come week 5. Kansas. We murdered them last year, and I don't feel confident. I think Kansas is going to take another step next year. What do you think about that?
Listen, this would be one of those. I think you should win the game, but I'm
I think so
telling you
too. Yeah.
now that when you start talking about this guy, Daniels is an unbelievable talent,
And their
and
running
I
back is
think we
nice too.
we talked
Devin
about this
Neal.
and we talked about this off of air, dude. I think that Lance Leipold is one of the best coaches in the country that nobody talks about. He's like another Kyle Whittingham to me. The dude, he's won multiple national titles at a lower level. The guy
Yeah.
knows how to coach, and he's in the comfort zone. He's in a place that they don't have huge expectations, and he's got electric players on that team. Could you lose it?
Yeah.
Probably. Will you? You shouldn't. But y'all
Yeah.
had issues with these guys before.
I have it as a win. I will say, we had, like I said, we have had issues with them before. However, last year when we played them, we played Daniels. We didn't play the other quarterback. We ended up playing Daniels. We beat them like
I know you did.
55 to 14. Bijan Robinson went for like 200 some odd rushing yards.
Obviously, Bijan and Roshan aren't coming back, but I believe your line is better, and you're still going to have great running backs. Yeah. So
if we're able to run the ball, we control the game. Should not be a problem. Moving in to Red River week
this
6.
is where you catch an L. This is where you catch an L.
No, sir.
It's going to happen, bro. Sorry.
All right, let me spill it out, then you spill yours. Oklahoma y'all are gonna be improved, and we'll get to them next. They're the next team we're gonna talk about. Y'all are gonna be improved. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
Dylan Gabriel does not play defense. Dylan Gabriel would not have made y'all win last year. 49-0. We could have scored 75 on them boys. I think it'll be a much closer game. Don't get me wrong. I'm not predicting a blowout. But I think our offense, although we're losing our biggest piece, obviously, Bijan Robinson, like you said, we recruit that position so well. We're going to have talent.
Got the number one running back in the country from
our offensive. Right. Our offensive line, all 5 are returning. Quinn Ewers takes a step forward. Xavier Worthy played half of last season with a broken hand. He's going to be better. Isaiah Nayor being healthy with A.D. Mitchell coming in from Georgia. Jonte Cook's going to get on field. Jay Witt's coming back. Our offense is going to be electric. I think Oklahoma's defense is going to take a step forward. Y'all recruit too well to not.
Bro,
and BV is a defensive-minded coach. However, our offense is also taking a step. So 49 points, maybe we don't score that many. But I would be hard-pressed to believe that we don't find a way to get ourselves into the 30s. And our defense, we lost DeMarvion Overshown. I'll give you that. We got Anthony Hill. He's a true freshman. This will be week 6. I think he's going to be the starter. And if not, David Benda has been talked very highly about. The only other person that we really lost on defense that's like the big hit, I say the only other, obviously, Keandre Coburn, Moro Ojomo, they were nice additions. They weren't studs up top. Deshaun Jameson was a pretty nice DB for him, but he's 5'9". He was undersized. He wasn't a freak athlete, but he was fast. I think our defense is in a position to although maybe we lost our best player, which I would argue that we didn't because I think Jalen Ford is our best player. I think our defense is actually in a position to take a step forward. I don't have a score prediction this early. I do believe that we go back-to-back and take down the crappy Oklahoma Sooners.
Okay, well, you know what? Why don't we save my prediction for the Oklahoma video? Because I'm saying W here for Oklahoma.
Yeah,
and we'll just move forward. Yeah.
We'll move on to a week 7 bye week, which we share with Oklahoma. That's interesting. I'm pretty sure, right?
Kind of weird, right?
Yeah. And Baylor has a week 7 bye week as well. It's weird now that we have 14 teams. The bye weeks fall on like so many teams get a lot of them. We'll move into week 8. Houston. Okay. Houston last year, and this is what I was telling Jason earlier. When it comes to these new 4 teams, I didn't follow them last year. So I've done some research on them. I don't have a ton. So if y'all are watching this video and y'all are a Houston, Cincy, BYU, or UCF fan, and
they were not good. They were not.
Their quarterback was good. From what I gathered, their quarterback was pretty good.
They UTSA should have won the game against them. It got worse after that for Houston. Cold. They lost to Kansas, and I mean, obviously Kansas had a good season before Daniels went down. Yeah. But what I'm going to tell you is that they were having real issues. Fighting on the sidelines during the game against Kansas, where I mean and Dana Holgorsen after the game says, "I'm not taking responsibility for this. This looks like a dumpster fire to me. It's really close to Okie Light dumpster fire. Maybe not quite that bad, but close.
As bad.
Yes. So I don't think that he makes it. I would not be surprised if Dana Holgorsen didn't make it out of the midpoint of the season, to be quite honest with you. Because I just don't think they're that good. And, yeah, you guys are going to beat the brakes off them dudes. No doubt about it.
I have Texas beating Houston. I have Texas. We'll just BYU. I have that as a win. They're losing their quarterback. BYU is a team that they beat Texas the last 2 times they played them with Taysom Hill.
They've never lost to Oklahoma.
Taysom Hill has made a good NFL career as being that gadget player. So I'm not going to sit here and say we lost to a crappy quarterback. I mean, he may not be the best quarterback, but he's a gadget. He's a gadget guy and has an NFL career. Kansas State.
Football player.
Yeah. Here, I'm just going to go through. You stop me if you disagree. Kansas State, they don't have Deuce Vaughn. Adrian Martinez. That's their quarterback. Who was the other one? Was it Will Howard or something like that?
Will Howard is their quarterback now. Adrian's gone, right?
Adrian Martinez is gone. Martinez was the runner. Will Howard was actually a quarterback and could actually throw the ball pretty nice, really. But Deuce Vaughn was most of their offense. They did. I don't recall a stud receiver. Am I missing a name? I don't recall them having a guy that was just like you got to watch out for him a ton. Their defense was
No, I
nice.
mean
They had the
they're
big
solid, but they're solid, but they do things a little different. Yeah, I think that K-State
right.
is going to be pretty similar to last year. I know without Deuce's, but they're still they had some other guys that were good. What I would tell you is you're going to see more of a. I think that if this is a team that could beat Texas, possibly.
Okay.
But you guys don't seem to have the same issue with them that Oklahoma does. So maybe not.
6 years in a row.
I do not doubt that y'all win this game. What I would tell you is that this is a quarterback that's probably the best throwing the football that you've seen in that 6 years winning streak, right? And they're going to have to rely on that. What that means, it may not mean anything. But I don't think that they really take a step back this year because and Kleiman's another one of those guys that I think he's a really good coach. I think that they're going to be in contention for this thing late in the season. I think.
I agree.
I think that they're the third best team in this conference.
I don't agree with that, but we'll get to there.
Okay, go ahead.
We'll get to that. I think they'll be contention, but I don't know about the third best.
Okay. Who's your third?
TCU.
Would it be Baylor, I guess?
My third is Kansas.
Okay.
I think Kansas is taking a step, dude.
That's a real step.
We'll get there. We're going to get there.
Okay. Go ahead.
After Kansas State, we travel and play TCU. I have that as a dub. I think TCU is going to have a down year from making a natty to
they're toast.
Scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Not at the very
bottom.
I think it starts week 1 and doesn't get much better. Yep.
Doesn't get much better. Iowa State. Listen, Texas fans. We only leave the state of Texas twice, in week 2 and week 12. Yeah. But Iowa State, listen. Xavier Hutchinson. It's gone. Hunter Deckers is not a bad quarterback. I actually think Hunter Deckers can be solid. And that Noel guy, that Noel receiver, I don't remember his first name. He was pretty good.
He's good.
He's not Xavier Hutchinson. Mm-mm. I think their defense, the state of Iowa, their defense is always going to be some semi-solid.
That's what Matt Campbell does, bro. That's what Matt Campbell does.
But their offense just isn't. They don't have Breece Hall anymore. They don't have Brock Purdy. Now they don't have Hutchinson. They're losing all their key guys. I have a dub there. And then we get Texas Tech at home. We're going to have the revenge tour. All right. We're not going to lose to Texas Tech. We lost to them because they had Donovan. What's his name? Donovan Smith or something like that. Or am I thinking of somebody else? He was super mobile quarterback. We played him early. It was the week. It was the week after. No, it was 2 weeks after Quinn got hurt. So he played against Hudson Card. That Bijan fumble in overtime was a fluke. Bijan. Run that play again. Right? Bijan does not fumble that ball.
He never fumbled the ball. That was so weird to me.
With that being said, I have Texas at 11-1. I have our ceiling at 11-1. I will not put our ceiling at 12-0 because Texas is gonna lose a game. Even if we beat Bama week 2 and Oklahoma week 6, I bet we drop a game.
Because I just have to.
We do it.
Yeah.
I have our floor being 9-3, and that would be worst case scenario that we lost to Bama, Kansas, and Oklahoma. If I had to pick a fourth team that we could potentially lose to, it probably would be a Kansas State. And only because their defense might be okay. I would say Baylor, but I just don't trust y'all's defense to be anywhere near good enough.
Right. Okay.
What do you have us at? I also have us finishing first in the Big 12, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, we've talked about this. I feel like that this last year in the Big 12, Oklahoma and Texas should be playing in the championship game. Either way that goes, whether in the Red River, I don't really see a lot of losses for either side. If you were going to lose a game, I see you maybe losing the Bama game, and I see you losing Oklahoma. But I have a hard time believing that you're going to lose to even I think BYU is better than you do, but I do. But I also think that you get them at home, and you should be able to win there. The TCU, I mean, Kansas State, maybe, but that again, that's a home game, and I just feel like I don't see a lot of L's here. I guess if there was another team that I could, I mean, if we see Baylor from 2 years ago, maybe. I don't see that right now, and so I have a hard time
They don't
with
have
it.
the receivers.
And Texas Tech, I don't trust. I just don't trust them. Even though I like Joey McGuire, I don't like
I think
Texas
Joey McGuire is solid. I hate Texas Tech, but
So
I think Joey McGuire is actually a nice coach.
I do too, and I think he's a very good. He's a legendary coach in the state of Texas at high school, and he is able to recruit very well. He recruited a top 25 class. That never ever happens at Tech.
And I think he was on the staff that 2 years ago when Baylor won.
He was, and hey,
he was their offensive coordinator.
If we're about to find out that he was the reason that they were that good, and Baylor let him get out and kept Dave Aranda.
We're gonna get to Baylor here in a minute.
Gonna hate me for this, but anyway, if there was some other teams that I could see, you're not going to lose to all of them. But if there were some other roadblocks, potential stumbling blocks there, your floor is 9-3. Yeah, I think 10-2, 11-1. I'm not that far off of where you're at. I feel like 10-2 is probably because I think you lose to Alabama and I think you lose to Oklahoma. But I think if you're gonna beat Alabama, it's gonna be right now because of the fact that it's just
according to my chart here, even if we did drop Bama and Oklahoma, we'd still be number 2 in the Big 12. We'd still make the Big 12 champ game.
I think so too. No, I think that
because I don't have another team at 10-2.
No, I think that the next best one is going to be probably Kansas State. I don't think that UCF, even the UCF guys don't seem to think that they're going to go much better than like 7-5.
Well, let's move on to Oklahoma because UCF is in this video, so we're going to talk about that.
Let's do it.
So, well, you take charge of Oklahoma, and
so the first 3, we don't really have to talk too much about the first 3 because obviously they've got Arkansas State week 1. That was going to be Georgia until they canceled that game because it was going to. In case they did go in 2024 into the SEC as we are. So that's obviously Arkansas State. That was Petrino's team. He's not there anymore.
I think Texas should have got out of that Bama game, if I'm being honest with you.
I kind of think they probably should.
I think we should have got out and played somebody else. But I'm happy. I want to play Bama, but
I don't think it hurts anything for you guys. So Anyway, SMU the week after that, Tanner Mordecai even left. I don't think that they're going to be good. They're having dreams of a Pac-12 conference that's dead, so that weirds me out. They're going to win that one. Tulsa, I mean, it's Tulsa. Come on, they should win that one too, even on the road. The Cincinnati game, I'm not sold on Scott Satterfield, and I know that a lot of people like him. I just don't think that he's that good a coach. And he's definitely not Luke Fickell, and they lost a lot of guys as far as we're talking about, like recruit-wise. I mean, the best guys that they were going to get, Oklahoma ended up with them. So even though it's on the road, I think that's going to be a tougher that's going to be one of the few times that Oklahoma leaves the state of Oklahoma 3 times this season.
Yeah.
I do feel like they should definitely win that one. Iowa State at home. That's one of those trap games, I think, for both Texas and Oklahoma because of the fact that they can defend. They can defend you, and because they still had a top 10 defense in the country a year ago, and they were trash.
Their defense is gonna be good.
It always is. And so offensively, if that kid was to take a step forward, fine. But I still don't see it. I feel like there's another win. They should really get into the Red River game unbeaten. And then they're going to get through the Red River game unbeaten because there's no way you guys win 2 in a row. And look, here's the deal. You said a minute ago that Dylan Gabriel doesn't play defense. That's such a lame excuse, by the way, because we know that he doesn't. But being on the field longer than a play or two is also helpful for your defense.
I agree, but at the same time, don't you have to
have a game going 49-0 never happens if you can't. They couldn't throw the ball. They had a tight end playing quarterback.
Listen, if you have the game at 49-0 and Dylan Gabriel played, no, the score wouldn't have been 49-0.
No,
but it wouldn't have been 21-17.
I think it
And
could have
then
been.
you
It
have
very
to
well
count
could.
in.
Listen,
You have to count into the fact that we literally could have dropped 75.
oh, stop
Halfway
it.
through the third
Just
quarter, we
stop
stopped.
it already. Just
Are
stop.
you
Listen, bottom line, what you could have done, what you could have done in a situation where they had zero depth whatsoever at quarterback, and the fact that, listen, here's the deal. The one thing is you
had General Rudy.
He had an eye injury. He was supposed to start, and he had an eye injury, but a couple of days before something happened. That's exactly what happened.
His eye injury was, I don't want to go out there and get killed against Texas. That's what his eye injury was.
I'm going to let you get away with that one because it's funny. Look, I don't know. The one thing I'm going to tell you is this. There was times last year, and it was when Dylan Gabriel wasn't in the game, that they looked completely, on both sides of the ball. But I'm going to tell you the one thing that I'm going to say is with all the losses, a ton of it was on defense. And we're talking about a defense that was bad anyway before that. Whatever you did on defense, it wasn't good. Now,
but can we also talk about Dylan Gabriel's like 7-11 versus Power 5?
Bro, no, you can't, because he played for UCF for a lot of those, and they're not going to beat a lot of. He
played for Oklahoma for a lot a those too,
bro.
Y'all played. Look, how many Power 5 games?
He had a better season than Quinn Ewers did. He had better stats all the way around than Quinn had, all the way around,
except for in the win column.
Okay. They also
and we've already talked about that.
Something.
Is that because Quinn was bad, or is that because Sark's play calling? Is that because Quinn was bad, or Sark's play calling against Oklahoma State?
Bro, okay, I agree with you on the play calling part. I'm going to tell you this. I'm telling you that overall, it had nothing to do with Dylan Gabriel. None of this had anything. It's ridiculous to even talk about it when the defense was 124th out of 131.
I agree, but Dylan Gabriel, listen, he also threw 3 picks against Baylor.
Bro,
I know you said one of them
was a hold. One of them was a hold. Another one was tipped by his own receiver that should have been caught. 2 of those they're not on him. And it's one thing. It's one thing to say that. How many picks did he have total on the year? Like 6.
Quinn had 6. 3 of them against Oklahoma State.
Right, but what I'm telling you is that it's not like he was throwing interceptions every week, bro. He wasn't. And the other deal was this. The other part of it was this: is once after that freaking 2 weeks happened after the concussion against TCU, which was a ridiculous hit, by the way, and they hurt everybody.
TCU did that a lot.
They did that a lot last year. Yes, they did. But what I'll tell you is that that also changed the way that they played offense because of the fact that Levy knew you can't afford to get him hurt again, so they didn't let him run anymore. They weren't running the same kind of stuff. There was times, but towards the end of the year, finally they started looking better. Here's what I would tell you: he closed out both in losses by 3 points each. The Texas Tech game, he had freaking 500 passing yards. And they put up 50. Then they did what? They lost by 3 again to Florida State in the bowl game. He had another 400-yard day. I'm not concerned about Dylan Gabriel. And the other reason I'm not that concerned about him, we got Jackson Arnold coming in. He already looks amazing. I don't want to see him rushed into service, by the way. But if you had an injury or anything like that, it's not the same kind of situation. Whether or not they win this game or not, I told you a minute ago, I think that these 2 teams should meet each other in the conference championship, whoever wins this game.
I think so.
So, and the thing is that defensively, they're different now. The guys that weren't getting to play or that weren't on the team, they did great in the portal, and and some of the guys that they recruited that are freshmen, you don't want to expect a ton out of them. PJ Adebawari is going to be a stud. Peyton Bowden's liable to be a stud. Makari Vickers is a stud. I watched him shut down an entire half of the field against All-Americans in San Antonio, period. Nobody threw his way once. He blanketed those guys. So I'm just going to say that they're going to be better. They got Deshaun McCullough and his little brother. Deshaun was great at Indiana last year. They got Lacey from defensive line from Notre Dame. They got Bothroyd from Wake Forest. He's been a game wrecker. I mean, dude, it's going to be a different thing. And even if they're just about 70th in the country, they would have won 10 games last year. If they're top 50, again, with this schedule, I'm going to tell you, the only loss I could see them having would be maybe Texas. But I don't see that happening.
Let's get into the rest of them. Let's pick up week 8.
UCF week 8. They win.
I have that as a win.
They win. Yeah, they're at home.
Yeah,
they're at home.
Kansas.
They're going to beat Kansas. They're going to beat Kansas.
I have that as a win.
Yeah,
but that is the possible loss.
Sure. Again, we talked about Jalen Daniels is a stud
this year. He is.
Listen,
Devin Neal is no joke either.
I agree.
I agree.
I listen. I think that's a trap game there that you could lose. I could see that one. They don't lose to Kansas generally. Kansas State is the Kansas problem that they have, generally speaking, and they don't.
How y'all dodge them? Y'all dodged 2 losses this year. Not getting Kansas, not getting Baylor. Y'all dodged 2 losses.
Oh, stop it! They would have beaten Baylor. They were going to beat Baylor, bro. They're going to beat the brakes off of Baylor,
dude.
No, they were going to beat the brakes off of Baylor. All right, next, Okie Light.
Okie Light. Go ahead, rip them. I know you got it in you.
Bro, Spencer Sanders is gone, and they're acting like it don't matter. They replaced him with Alan Bowman. Bowman. Their new defensive coordinator that they brought in was at a Division III school.
Yeah.
On top of that, they lost their 2 best safeties. They lost 5 of their top 6 receivers. And did I say Spencer Sanders? As much as I couldn't stand the dude, the guy was way better than anybody they have.
He choked against Oklahoma every year. Yeah. He played good. Every other team, it seems like he played decent.
I think that he's
Oklahoma just chokes.
Yeah, bro. You know what happens? You know what it is? It's choky. It's Oklahoma. It's Okie Light crap. That's what they are. It is because that's what Gundy is. They're toast. Yeah. I'll be surprised if Okie Light wins more than 4 games. I'm just gonna put it that way. Yeah. Beating the brakes off of them. Last time that they're going to have the game for at least 10 years, probably beating the brakes.
Hey, let me tell you something. Being a Longhorn fan, knowing that we beat A&M the last time we played, it's so nice. You end any argument immediately goes like, "Hey, didn't Justin Tucker? Didn't he hit that?" Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Did he do the money sign? Was he already doing the money sign then? Where he was doing the money. That dude is so good. So
West Virginia in week 11, man.
That's another one of their losses from last year.
West Virginia's trash.
I think that they're in trouble, man. I do. Because Graham Harrell.
I don't think Neil Brown is a good coach at all.
I don't either.
I don't think he's got it in him.
Yeah, I think they're.
Now I will say that quarterback that came in.
I liked him, but I'm not even sure that he's going to be the starter, bro. I don't even know that he's going to be the starter.
I don't know. But I think he's pretty good. I wouldn't be surprised if he transferred, if he's got eligibility after this season.
JT Daniels, if he plays a whole season, he's going to be at Rice. Yeah. So, which is weird, but they've got another guy in. They got another guy in that apparently is supposed to be. Koo says he's good. I don't know. I think that they're trash. I think obviously they win that one. The game 12 or week 12 again at BYU. There's a stumbler. This is a tough place to play, man. It's going to be cold. It's going to be rowdy in that joint. I think that this is something that, I mean, it's going to be a tough one. Now, how do these guys respond to the new conference? I don't know yet. But I feel like this is one of those they've got a really good coach. This is one of those kind of games that you could definitely see them losing. Even if they were undefeated right here, I'm kind of like what you just said with Texas. I don't expect them to go undefeated. There's no way.
Yeah.
So I would expect that if, this is where I would have to give them an L right now. And I could definitely see them possibly losing the Kansas game. There's no way they get beat by the Okie Light. And I think they beat the crap out of TCU in the last week because of what happened last year.
So you seem to sound
I think that they go.
You seem to sound a little bit more. You seem to sound a little bit more willing to say that y'all could lose to BYU and Kansas over Texas. Is that just because it's Red River? Y'all lost
There's no
last
way
year.
I'm
You
gonna.
think y'all are going to that game?
Of course, bro.
Right. Well, I mean, here's the thing. I don't recall last year if I picked Texas to beat Oklahoma. I don't know if I did.
Yeah.
I'm willing to say I'm not saying 100% we win that game.
I'm not saying 100% either, but I'm not going to admit it to you.
Are you more willing to say that you think y'all could lose to BYU at a higher, like 9 out of 10 times y'all lose to BYU, or not 9 out of 10? No. Out of 10 games, you lose to BYU more than you would lose to Texas out of 10 games?
Well, we did win 7 of the 10 before that, so against Texas. So, yeah, probably. I don't know, man. I honestly, just being honest about it, of course, that's the one game that it doesn't matter if how bad either team is. It just
we
doesn't.
Beat y'all with Charlie Strong,
bro. Exactly. That was. I was positive that game was easy, an easy win for Oklahoma, and they lost. So yeah, I'm not going to sit here and tell you.
I'm just making sure, because I was like,
come on,
there
man.
For a second, I was like,
this isn't my first rodeo. This is not my first rodeo, bro. It's not. So I get it.
I'm gonna agree with you,
and
though,
especially
TCU,
when I feel like they're going to play twice this year, dude. They're going to play twice this year. I really do feel that.
They're going to take back-to-back. Oh man, we might three-peat on y'all this year. Then 1 win last year, 2 wins this year.
I'm thinking no.
Nice.
No, I don't think so.
That writes our ticket to the playoffs easy.
Listen,
TCU's a dub for y'all. TCU's not going to be good. They lost so much, like we talked about, to Texas. They had so many super seniors, so many transfer portal guys that are gone. Max Duggan, their running back Kendre Miller, Quentin Johnston.
Yeah, I just don't.
D winners.
And I think that they probably added some decent players because of the run that they made.
I'm sure they
probably did great through the portal. I
know they got a receiver,
great, but yeah.
I know they got a receiver, but I don't remember.
And they did get Kendall.
He was a guy that was like on Texas's name.
They did get Kendall Briles, but here's what I'm going to say about Kendall Briles. This is the same kind of thing. The difference in Lincoln Riley is the same as the difference in the other Riley, Little Lincoln. That's not the same freaking offense as what the Briles guys run. It's not. It's not the same terminology. It's not the same. The routes it looks similar, but it isn't. It's similar, but it's not the same freaking thing. So even if they had some of these guys back, I think that there would be some issues with switching. I think that was part of the Oklahoma's issue for part of last year when you saw any kind of shakiness out of the receivers dropping footballs. I don't think that they were running the right routes a lot of the time. The offense was not the same thing. And I think on top of that, again, no super seniors, none of that stuff. I don't see TCU, and I think Sonny's a good coach. I just think that this is a year that they're not really gonna. I think they get their ass kicked week 1, and it probably gets worse. Huh?
I said I think they're a one-hit wonder. They might do it again in like a decade and a half, but probably not to the Natty. Like their one hit next time might be like maybe they make it to the second round of the playoffs. But that for me leaves Oklahoma at 11-1 with their one loss coming to yours truly, Texas Longhorns, with the ceiling. I'll be honest, I gave y'all a ceiling of 12-0. I think y'all schedule's pretty easy. Y'all dodged, like I said, you dodged Kansas State and Baylor, the two teams that have given y'all some difficulty. So
I don't think they've went 12-0 since I've been alive, dude. I just don't know.
But y'all always lose one, but it's usually Kansas State, and you don't play them.
Right.
That's my thing. Like I know y'all usually
that's the one I really wish they were playing that again because they always beat the crap out of Tech. But honestly,
I've got your floor at 9-3.
That's kind of where
possible losses to Texas, Kansas, and then I don't know who the other
maybe UCF. I guess I don't know. BYU,
or like you were saying, maybe BYU, Iowa State, just because of their defense, but I don't trust their offense to score.
Right. Yeah, I like Hunter Deckers, and I like Matt. I think Matt's a good coach. I think that's just not a job that you're really going to win.
Surprised he's still there
a lot. Yeah. I mean, he should have already doesn't seem like he wants to leave. It doesn't seem like he wants to leave. But anyway, All right. Yeah. So I think that, I think that I've been saying this too. I expect them to win 9-ish. I would probably not I would not lose my head if if it was 8, because of the fact they're still a little young. If it was an 8-win season, I don't think that anybody's going to be happy with that with this schedule. But
no,
at
you'd
least
be
it's
just like Texas last. Like, we took a step forward. It's not the best step,
right.
but it's
Correct.
something better.
I think if it was 8
Something
wins, if it
better.
was 8 wins, then you got a 9th win in the bowl game or whatever, fine. But I really feel like for the regular season, if you don't win 9, you've probably had some bad injuries or something bad's happened, or you've not progressed the way we feel like you should have with this schedule. Again, when you only leave the state 3 times, and honestly, Dallas is like, Oklahoma South for them, because it's the same as like how it is for Austin. Dallas is part of they play there every year. It's not a problem, But yeah, so I could see them being 9-3. I could see them being 11-1.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say 12-0 ever. I'm just never going to say it.
I think y'all's ceiling is legit. Like, for Texas 12-0 is just be so hard because we have to play Oklahoma and Bama.
Right.
If
Georgia's still on the schedule, then
that.
Yeah.
Right.
I get it.
So let's move in. We got Baylor next. These should start going a little bit faster.
We were talking about the 2 good teams in the conference. We can just kind of throw these guys together. Come on.
Honestly, Logan's not here to defend Baylor, but I probably have Baylor doing better than he does.
Do you?
And probably. And here's why. Okay. Like I said at the beginning, I don't know a ton about the new 4 schools.
Right.
But at the same time, I actually know a decent amount about Baylor now, and I think Richard Reese is going to carry.
I think Richard Reese is.
They got 2 offensive lineman transfers from BYU that are big dudes, and I think returning the rest of your offensive line and getting those guys, you let Blake Shapen develop some to where he can manage a game. He doesn't have to be a game changer; just manage it. Let Richard Reese do what he does. The dude is a stud. I really think Richard Reese will be the best running back in the Big 12 next year. So starting with Texas State, I have a win. Utah, I think they take an early loss.
I do too.
I don't think they beat Utah. Long Island, obviously a win. Texas is a loss. Starting the season 2-2. Doesn't sound great. I think UCF and Texas Tech, I have those as wins.
Okay.
They killed Tech last year.
Okay.
They
did not, though. It got worse at the end when Tech kind of gave up on it, but it was close. It was close.
It was close for a little bit, but
it was close to the 4th quarter, bro. It was close to the 4th quarter.
I have
so their fans started walking out of the stadium, and after that, Tech fans are something.
I gave them a loss against Cincy.
Okay.
And I don't know a ton about Cincy. I just feel like whenever I think back a few years to where they were, I think their offense.
Here's the thing.
Baylor's defense is going to have problems with stopping the run. They're going to have problems.
Yeah.
And I was looking at Tech and UCF, and I was like, I don't feel like those 2 teams can do it. Iowa State, no, because Hunter Deckers is going to lead. They're going to be an offense passing. I think Cincy could be a trap game for them. Just like they're looking ahead on the schedule.
They're
liking
so that's they lost at West Virginia last year, so I could see that.
Right.
All right. That's the only reason I would think that, though. But
Iowa State I have as a win, but I will say that is one of the games that I think is losable for them because of Iowa State's defense.
Right.
But if they're able to run the ball, then they should be able to manage the clock. Houston, I have as a win. Kansas State, I have as a win, but is also gonna be a tough game for them.
Yep.
They lost to Kansas State bad last year. They did. But I think maybe I'm giving Deuce Vaughn too much credit because I think Deuce Vaughn was so much of their offense that I'm down on them. Mind you, I still have Kansas State going. I think I have them overall in the Big 12 race at the end of the season. But I have them winning that. You seem to disagree. What do you got?
I think your boy might be trying to jump in. Okay, yeah. So where I'm at on it, I think they're a little better than you do. I definitely think they lose. Those two early that we were talking about. I think that they lose to Utah and Texas because I think that Utah is still probably at least top 2 in the Pac-12.
Okay.
And then I mean, obviously they're going to be, the differences is that I'm seeing in what you're doing. I'll just tell you the differences would be, I think that they could lose the Tech game, because I just don't feel like, I feel like Tech probably got better, and I just don't know that I like Shapen a lot. And if their defense is as bad as you're talking about, I think that their better chance of losing would be that game than Cincy. I've got Cincinnati as a win. I've got Houston obviously as a win. I think that they get beat by Kansas State, and then they beat the last. They're going to beat TCU. That obviously that's a rival game for them. But I do think that you never know really what's going to happen there. But they should have beaten TCU last year, and they didn't. And I think that that's that big time revenge game. And again, I feel like TCU is going to be in a season long hangover. I don't know how you get away from what that turned into in front of God and everybody. You know what I mean? It's just
I do think that you have a point on one thing that I just recall. Baylor did have a lot of defensive backs transfer out, and so whenever I'm looking back at that Texas Tech and I think they hired a new defensive back coach or something, and a lot of people left. So when I look at Texas Tech and Baron Morton, if he ends up getting the starting job, which I kind of think he will, I could see Texas Tech putting up problems. And then here's the thing: I've got them at 9-3, but their floor for me is 6-6.
Yeah, I've got them at 8-4.
I think they're scratching.
Yeah, I've got 8-4.
I think they might scratch the barrel of coming down to West Virginia in the last week of the season and needing a win that I think they'll get to get that bowl game.
My floor would probably be
their floor
probably about five games maybe.
Man, losing 5 games. Utah, Texas, Tech, Iowa State, Kansas State. Who's the other 2
I could
losses?
see them losing Iowa State. I've got them right now. I've got them losing to Tech, Kansas State, obviously Utah and Texas. So I could see them losing to Iowa State also.
7-5.
Yeah, it's 7-5.
Who else?
I feel like right now I have them at 8-4. That's where I think they're at. But I could see them lose to Iowa State.
TCU because
I could see them lose to Iowa State, and I could see them losing to TCU possibly. UCF. Hey, listen, I'm going to tell you, Gus Malzahn is one of the better coaches in the country.
He is,
and so it's a possible loss. I don't know that they lose that one. I've got them winning it, but I feel like 7-5 is more. I think they're gonna. 8-4, they're gonna. I feel like that's their ceiling. Maybe 9-3. I don't see 9-3 so much. I would more see 6-6 than I would see 9-3. That's just where I'm at. And I'm not even trying to be a hater. I'm really not. I'm not trying to be a hater here. Because I honestly don't see them going 6-6.
Yeah. I think that. I think I feel more comfortable. Like I said, 9-3 is what I have them at just based off of this.
Right.
But I don't know as if I think that's the most likely outcome. It's just I could see it.
Right.
6-6, I don't think I can see. I mean, that's got to be their floor. If they don't make a bowl game.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, and I was asking Logan this. If they don't make a bowl game, Dave Aranda, is he gone? After having a crazy year 2, a bad year 3, and then a worse year 4?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think that that's what. See, would you say? I mean, if he was at Oklahoma or Texas? Yeah, he's gone. Right? He's gone if he's at Oklahoma or Texas because that's 3 seasons out of 4 that you were trash. but you're Baylor. You're not Oklahoma
The
and
fans,
Texas.
dude. The fans are lost on like the year 2. You're like, oh my gosh, we might have like man, we're gonna have all the teams in the country trying to come after Dave, and really teams were trying to come get Dave, and he's like, no, I'm gonna stay. And then you go 6-7, and then if you follow it up with a year that you don't make a bowl game.
No, I think their ceiling. I think their floor is 6-6. They make a bowl.
Okay, I thought you were saying that maybe they wouldn't. But even then, if you do 6-6 again, I mean, not that obviously they don't have the same expectations that a team like Texas or Oklahoma would have, but I think there could be a chance where they say, nope, we're going back after. Where's Matt Rule at?
Here's the other thing that you have to remember: he's not coming back down there. He's in Nebraska. He's not doing that. So Matt Rule's not coming back to town. That I don't think if he wasn't at Nebraska, he wouldn't be coming back to town. That ship is sailed.
Well,
what I'm going to tell you is that I think that these obviously had some issues with his assistants. He got rid of a coordinator, an offensive coordinator last year, and the defensive coordinator this season, right? Or defensive back, or whatever it was.
He got rid of the DC, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Well, hang on.
So
we've got Logan in the building.
Oh, good.
Let's let Logan come in and defend the Baylor Bears. Quick recap. Logan, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm here.
I'll give a recap for you. I've got Baylor at 9-3, with y'all's floor being 6-6, which is kind of that's a 3-game swing. That's kind of a lot because I think y'all could lose to Kansas State, Texas Tech, and potentially Iowa State because their defense is going to be stout. I think 9-3 is probably y'all's best potential. Losing to Utah, Texas, and I've got a loss at Cincy. For some reason, I don't know if y'all can travel to Cincy and get a win there. What do you think about that, bud?
Okay, so K-State, I believe, because I'll give you that one because they've always given us troubles the past couple of years.
And
Tech
Howard's
and
better than
Iowa State are both going to be at home. Going on the road to Ohio to Cincinnati, that's a little iffy. They don't have Luke Fickell anymore. I think that was their head coach 2 years ago. They don't have him. I can't recall off the top of my head how they did last year, but I know it was nowhere near as good as what it was the year before.
It wasn't that bad. No, they had the one loss early to Arkansas, and then they didn't lose again until UCF, so they were still good. But I don't think much of Scott Satterfield. I think they win that game. I think if they lose to Tech. And the reason I think that is because I like Joey, and I think he knows a lot about what he's going to find in Baylor. I think that would be there. I had them at 8-4. I could see 9-3 also. I think they're closer to 6-6 than 9-3.
Yeah, I think I was kind of like ceiling of maybe 11-1, 10-2. I would probably lean more like 9-3, 8-4 with losses to Texas, possibly K-State, and I think Cincinnati was the one that I marked as a loss as well. And then a fourth one, probably just some stupid one that we're not supposed to lose, like TCU, because for some reason the past couple of years we've been losing that one.
Well, I mean, the guy came in and kicked a freaking as time expired. I just ran on and booted it. That was so ridiculous.
I mean, the past 2 years we've lost that TCU game because of poor offensive play calling.
Yes.
Late in the
Gary
fourth quarter.
Bohannon throwing the ball late.
Gary Bohannon and Blake Shapen both throwing picks with under 3 minutes left in the game. Right. So it's kind of we should have won the.
I think they kind of owe them. Well, and they owe TCU one here, and so I feel like we've been saying this all. TCU is about to have a big hangover season, bro. It's going down.
And they lost so much production. I would probably go out and say that they lost the most production in the Big 12.
Even if they got good back.
Besides maybe Oklahoma State losing like 32 players. I'm not sure how many of those were.
I was fixing to say they didn't lose as much as Okie Light, but close. Yeah.
They lost more quality.
Yeah, more quality. Definitely more quality.
Well, that wraps up Baylor. We'll move into the new 4 teams of the Big 12. Who do you want to start with? Houston, UCF, BYU, or Cincy?
I think I'm most excited about Houston, to be honest.
They're going to
start there. We'll start with Houston.
Okay, go ahead.
So hey, we'll just start it off with UTSA. Does anybody know who's coming back? Is their offense still going to be like
Yes,
elite like it was
They
last
still
year?
have their
dude.
quarterback.
They still have their
Oh yeah,
quarterback. They
that's
still
an
have their
L.
top 2
That's a bad
receivers.
L.
That's an L. Listen, Houston is almost Okie light dumpster fire right now.
But Houston also
week
brought
2.
in Donovan Smith from Tech.
Oh yeah,
Who's
I
Donovan
do
Smith?
remember that.
The
He's the quarterback that Texas had to
yeah,
play.
the
That we
real
lost to.
mobile.
Who the
mobile
hell?
guy.
They lost both of their quarterbacks in conference last year. Last year.
We put
No. Because Alan Bowman didn't go there last year. Alan Bowman went to Michigan last year.
they were at
He went
Michigan
to
last
Tech the year before.
They had Tyler Shook,
Yeah, it was Shook. Yeah, that's right.
Brett Moore, something like that.
Baron
Morton, that's what it was,
Baron
and
Morton.
Donovan
That's
Smith. All three of them threw a pick
Yeah.
against the Bears. Circle. I don't know what to tell you.
Week 2, Houston travels to play Rice. I don't think Rice is going to give them any problems if they
JT
do.
Daniels. JT Daniels, bro.
Yeah.
But who else? And JT Daniels is trash. Wait a minute. Why am I even
Yeah, he
considering
is.
that?
JT Daniels
Wait a
trash.
minute.
TCU.
TCU.
What do you think? What do you think about that, Jason? TCU
I think that
Houston
they
beating-
lose to TCU. I think that they lose.
Really?
Yeah. No, maybe not. I don't know.
I have them beating TCU.
Honestly, dude, by week 3 last year, they barely beat UTSA, and I think again, they do get UTSA at home this time, right? It is
like
a
an
home.
overtime. Didn't they have like
UTSA
3
is at home.
overtime?
It was a great
games
game.
to
No,
start
it was
the
a great
season?
game. I'm not even saying nothing, but UTSA should not be playing up with Houston when you're coming into the Big 12 and recruiting that way. That it shouldn't be happening. Now, what I'm going to tell you is everything that's been going on with Houston is the fact that Dana Holgorsen has zero control over this team. They were literally having fist fights with each other on the sideline in the Kansas game.
I was just thinking about the receivers getting each other.
And after the game was over with, what do you hear from Holgorsen? I'm not taking responsibility for that. What? So I'm just telling you, dude, I do not see Houston being very good. I've got them winning Sam Houston, Rice, and that's it. Okie Light beat.
We don't have them beating West Virginia?
They beat Okie Light.
I have them beating West Virginia. So here's mine, and then we'll just these next teams can be quick.
It's possible. It's possible.
A win
I have
against
them beating
Sam
West
Houston.
Virginia. I do have them with four wins.
Lost to Tech, win against West Virginia. They're going to lose to Texas, K-State, Baylor, Cincy, and then I have them finishing the season with dubs to Okie State and UCF. I have them 6-6
UCF
with a floor.
No way they go to UCF and win that game, dude. No way.
So here, once again, these new 4 teams. I didn't watch them last year. I looked at some stats.
UCF
I
won
looked
the
at
conference.
the teams that they
UCF
played.
won that conference.
Right.
Against Houston and against Cincinnati, they won that conference.
I know that UCF's not a terrible program.
They're not. And, dude, listen, I think they could have a tough year coming into a new conference like that. The thing is, they really don't have to play the cream of the conference really to start with, other than they get to play Oklahoma on the road. But then what? Do you guys even play them? You guys don't even play them, do you, Christian?
Nope.
Yeah. So
Baylor does it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that that's a loss probably for UCF there at the Baylor game. I think that their losses, they're going to be one of those teams that probably 8-4 also. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, obviously we're not to them yet, but go ahead.
Well, we're gonna do them next.
Okay.
Logan, do you want to run through what you've got for Houston? I have them at 6-6.
Okay.
Just rolling through these. I think they beat TCU. I mean, I don't know. We'll learn a lot week 1 against Colorado for TCU.
Yeah, we will.
I know, but those first 2 weeks for TCU, we're going to learn a lot to see how bad they are.
They suck.
Exactly.
They're bad.
Exactly.
Without Max Duggan, Kendra Miller, and Quentin Johnson, no, nothing. No. Okay.
To be fair, this quarterback that they got was their starter against Colorado a year ago.
That is true.
Got him hurt.
Chandler Morris, that is true.
And Chandler was at Oklahoma, so it's. I mean, I don't think he's terrible.
Sucks. That's garbage.
He's not good. don't think
So Houston.
I was
What do
trying.
you have? What
I
do you
was
have
trying there. Go ahead.
I would be like 5-7, 6-6.
I got 4
UCF
and
could
8,
go
and I
either way
think
for me.
their ceiling is 7 and 5, maybe.
Yeah,
Some around there.
They're going to
Well,
suck. I think Holgerson loses his job midway through the season, bro. I really do. I don't think they were happy with him. The Fertittas have all the control in this. They got all the money, and they don't like him. I think that if he doesn't jump out, and if he loses to UTSA, he could lose. He could go away that week.
I don't know.
Let's
UTSA's offense is kind of dope.
It's not the point. It's not the. It
They
was a
gave Texas a
complete
fit for the
crap
first
show.
quarter.
It was as bad as it was at Okie Light there last year, and that's just what I don't think. I'm surprised he is even bringing this team. It really surprised me that they didn't fire him last year. I don't think he's got a long leash, is what I'm saying. He loses that game and doesn't go out and like beat the brakes off of Rice. It guaranteed if he loses the first two, bye.
Oh yeah, he loses to Rice out.
Yeah, you got to go. All right, who are we on next?
Let's move to UCF.
UCF.
We
Okay.
got UCF next.
Okay.
I've got them starting the season 3-0. Kent State, Boise, Villanova. Obviously, Boise's a weird team. You know, every once in a while they'll have a decent year. I don't know if it's going to be this year, but after week 3, I have them losing 4 straight to Kansas State, Baylor, Kansas, and Oklahoma. Finding a way to get a dub. West Virginia's the dub for most teams this season. Losing to Cincy, beating Oklahoma State, and then losing to Tech and Houston. That's 5 and 7. Their ceiling would be 7 and 5, in my opinion, with possible wins against Cincy. Because I think that since that's such a familiar game, that game could always probably go either way.
I think it's
and then probably the same with Houston. So,
yeah, they beat the crap out of Houston, dude.
You know, I don't know what y'all said about Tech, but now that I'm thinking about it, and I think I might be a little bit.
We haven't talked about Tech.
Haven't?
No.
Oh man, I think I might be a little too high on Texas Tech. Just thinking about who they've lost.
I think they're better than. I think they're going to be better than they were.
I think Tech.
I mean, they recruited well for sure. The past 2 years they recruited.
I don't know if they take a step.
And I think that they're also doing well in the
the
portal. I think that they're better. I think that this is the best coach they've had since Mike Leach left.
Well, yeah, because he came from Waco.
For sure.
Whatever. He's good.
Run us through your UCF. Your UCF.
I think I don't know how much of a home field advantage Boise's field gives, but that possibly could give them trouble on that one.
They're good. Yeah, that's a good program.
I would say
I think they go. Yeah, they go back and forth.
if they weren't playing at Kansas, I would probably give UCF the game because I'm still not bought in on Kansas necessarily all the way yet. I think the Cincy game, with it being at Cincy, could go either way. I think I would still lean towards the Knights on that one, or the Golden Knights, whatever. At home versus Houston, probably swing towards UCF. So I think it would be probably somewhere around like 7 and 5, roughly.
To be fair, the one podcast that I've seen that came out of these guys from the UCF guys, and like the Twitter people are ridiculous. First off, I hope they never win. By the way,
they came to the Big 12 and started immediate fire.
Shit talking, man. Yeah, just crazy, right?
With Cyclone Larry, I think.
Yeah,
Cyclone Larry is crazy too, but he's fun. He's fun at least. Here's what I'll say. I think obviously Kent State, they win. I could see them beating Boise. I could see them losing that one. Nova, they win. Kansas State, they lose. Baylor, they lose. Baylor, they could beat because it's at home. But I feel like they win. They lose that one. Then again, you got at Kansas. Man, I feel like Kansas is going to be better. I don't think that they're as good as what Christian seems to think that they are coming up this year, but I do think they're good. I think a lot of their coach, and I think a lot of this quarterback, and I know that they have a heck of a running back too. I still want to see them do better than 7 wins before you like really expect much out of them.
But hang on, what? And then we're not talking about Kansas. But here's my question to you:
But
You
UCF
say you
has
think
been
Kansas will
very
be
good.
better. You say you think Kansas will be better. They went 6-6 in the regular season last year, but they were 6-0 before they lost or they were 5-0
They were
when they
5-0,
lost their starting
and
quarterback.
then they lost their starting
They
quarterback.
went.
Hey, listen,
Elijah Bean is that guy, bro.
No, he didn't win a single game.
do what?
I love messing with you.
I wish Baylor had gotten Bean so bad.
See, we haven't lost to Kansas in like 8 years.
Yeah, it's either.
Yeah, Oklahoma hasn't either. Oklahoma was close to losing to them a couple of years ago. But
Oklahoma
We
they
haven't
did.
lost to
This
Oklahoma
year,
in like 837 days, something like that.
Yeah, it's almost like that's almost. I mean, another year, and it'd be like how it was for Texas and Kansas. So
It'll be exactly like it too because we didn't even play them for 1 year. You're counting 1 year that we didn't even play them, so it's okay.
all
But
I
hey,
know is it was
that
like
number's never
1,200
going to
days,
stop
bro.
growing.
It was 1,200
Y'all may
days. That's
never
all I know.
play Baylor again.
BV don't want that smoke.
He don't. BV
I
don't.
really wish that they were playing Baylor this year in Tech. That's the two I
I
really
wish y'all were
wish they
playing
were
Baylor,
playing.
too.
I'm glad they're not playing Kansas State. I'm good with that. I really wish they were playing Baylor, especially now that Logan and me know each other. I really wish they were playing Baylor. But UCF, I feel like that's a game I could see. Obviously, they should lose it on the road. If they won it, it wouldn't really surprise me. They're going to get beat by Oklahoma. They're going to beat West Virginia. They're probably that Cincy game. Apparently, it's a big rivalry for them. I just don't think Scott Satterfield's that good. And I think the difference between Satterfield, what they do, and what they were doing with Fickle, I don't see Cincy being that good, man. I just don't. So I feel like they win that game, even though it's on the road. I think they beat Okie Light. It's in their house. They're going to beat. Everybody's going to beat Okie Light almost.
I wish we played them. I'm so mad.
I think that Tech. I think Tech is probably one. I think Tech is one of the main teams left after Oklahoma and Texas are gone. That they're going to be. I like Joey McGuire that much. I do. I think he's that good. When have you ever seen them recruit in the top 25? Ever? I just don't. I could see them losing that one. They're going to beat the brakes off of Houston. So yeah, I feel like they probably lose. I've got them losing 1, 2, 3, 4 to 5. They're probably 7-5 being probably their ceiling. That's about where you guys were at, right? Floor, maybe 6-6. I mean, I think they get it to a bowl game. This is even what their guys were saying too. I mean, even their dudes that were homerish, their guys were still saying 6-6, 7-5, maybe 8-4. You know, because they were saying it's hard coming into a new conference, and I agree.
Yeah,
with that.
I mean, I think that's how it is for the 4 new schools, anyways. It's gonna be hard coming from. I mean, I think if BYU had their offense like the same as it was whenever they played us or last year.
Right. I don't know that this quarterback isn't better than the one that was last year that didn't play that well at times. You know?
Yeah. I think BYU might have the best opportunity to come out in these first couple of years out of these 4 new teams.
Let's do BYU next.
I mean, that's just because I don't think they're going to be good next year. I'm just saying, like, in the next 4 to 5, I think they'll be the best out of the new 4.
Go ahead and lead us off with BYU. Go ahead and go through your season.
I think they start off possibly 3-1. I would probably lean 2-2 with 2 wins at home versus Sam Houston and Southern Utah. Lost to Arkansas. Depending on how BYU is playing, I mean, based off of last season, I'm giving Kansas the dub. So I would lean 2-2 there.
Think about this, Logan. BYU not only lost their quarterback, they lost 2 of their starting offensive linemen to Baylor.
Sick.
I love it when you do that. It's hilarious.
2-3. I mean, they might beat TCU. Who knows about TCU? I'm gonna lean towards BYU on that one. Give them 3-3. They could beat Tech because it's at BYU. That place is crazy.
No.
I'm still gonna go 3-4, 3-5, 4-5. I think they'll be around like 5-7, roughly. Just first glance.
I thought you guys would know better than that.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've got them at 5-7 too. I've got them losing to Arkansas, Kansas, Cincy, TCU, Tech, Texas, and Oklahoma.
They
And
need
here's the thing:
Oklahoma State at the end.
the ceiling. I have their ceiling at, and to be fair, 7-5. I think that they can probably take a team like Cincy or TCU, but I don't. Oh, but at the same time, I think I have them beating Iowa State. But let's be honest, we've been talking about Iowa State's defense
that's
a
at
lot.
home.
But still, Iowa State's defense is
No.
stout.
You should know from Taysom Hill how BYU's home field is.
Why? He beat us in Austin too. What are you talking about?
Bro,
I mean, if he beats you both places.
He beat the brakes off of
Hill,
you.
But once again, like we talked about with Texas, Logan wasn't here. I should have roasted Baylor more the way you're talking about Texas.
No, I'm just saying.
Let's be honest. Taysom Hill is an NFL quarterback. He has taken snaps as a starting quarterback.
He's an NFL tight end.
So he doesn't take snaps at quarterback.
That's because
I'm not saying he is
sucks.
I'm not saying he's a natural quarterback. I'm saying he's a gadget player. He is somebody who's made a career for himself in the NFL, being a gadget player that can just somehow make stuff happen. Not saying that we should have lost to BYU, but when you lose to a guy who, 9-10 years later is still in the NFL, I mean, okay. We lost to a guy who made an NFL career.
About?
You're taking this personal, Christian. I was just saying that their environment is crazy.
I'm not taking anything personal. I'm saying screw the environment. They beat us in Austin too. It had nothing to do with the environment. It had to do with.
I'm telling you though that environment. I was at that game that was in Provo. I went with a buddy of mine that's a big Texas fan from Vegas. We went to that game. I'm telling you, that place is nuts. And
that's the craziest sober crowd you will be around.
I don't know.
Absolutely, and they are completely sober, which is the weird thing.
Yeah,
they don't even allow drinking in that place, man. It's weird. Yeah,
you're talking about their environment being amazing. We both got them at 5-7. So it sounds like Jason has them higher, though. Let's hear it.
I do. I've got them winning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That would be their ceiling. I think that their ceiling could actually be 9 because if I'm seeing a loss and I got to see at least one loss for Oklahoma, if it is in Texas, it's going to be BYU on the road. I'm telling you,
Kansas before it's.
It could be Kansas.
Don't play Kansas. Y'all do play Kansas.
Yes,
I think it'll be Kansas.
Everybody agrees that they're not going to go on the road and beat Arkansas.
I don't believe they'll beat Arkansas. They should.
I don't think
here's the thing about Arkansas, though. They lost a lot of dudes plus Kendall, but they still have the same quarterback. They should be okay. I don't know.
Their transfer portal was crazy. They took like all 4 of our secondary completely. Like our secondary wasn't terrible.
They got one of the best corners in the country from a year ago from Georgia too. I just saw that last week. Actually, Arkansas, they should lose that game. They lost at home to them, so they should lose the game.
Do you have them losing to Kansas on the road?
I do. Yes, I have them beating.
So who do you have them losing to?
I've got them losing to Arkansas. I've got them losing to Kansas. I've got them losing to Texas. I've got them losing to Oklahoma right now. But I've got them beating Okie Light. I got them beating West Virginia. I've got them beating Tech. They're at home.
That's
at home.
4 losses. You said you could potentially see 9-3. So who's the one out of those 4 that you think they could beat?
Oklahoma,
Arkansas, Kansas, Texas. I don't think y'all lose to BYU.
I don't either. But listen, man. Here's what I know. I don't remember Oklahoma ever going undefeated ever. They should have plenty of times.
Go undefeated this year.
No, okay. I don't believe that. Well, we're going to beat them guys, but I'm just telling you, man. I just feel like.
I don't know, man. I think their ceiling is 7-5. I don't think they win 8. I definitely don't think they win 9. And BYU comes in and wins 9 in year 1 of the Big 12.
I don't
You've
think
got to
they really
imagine
would.
that they're top
I
of the Big
said
12
8 and
next
4
year.
would probably. I felt like 8 and 4 is more is where they're at. I think they're 8 and 4.
I hope they lose to Oklahoma because that means Texas beats Oklahoma, and I'm fine with that. If I got to lose one, might as well. Until y'all go 11
whatever.
and 2
we're gonna
when
see.
you
We're
lose
gonna.
to Texas
I don't
again.
really. I'm gonna tell you this. I feel like we've said this a lot in this show right here. Oklahoma and Texas ought to be playing twice this year. Period.
They ought to be.
So, if they lose the one in Dallas, then they're gonna definitely win the one at the end of the year in
It's
Dallas.
still in Dallas.
I don't know.
Yes,
Texas, we played maybe our best offensive game of the season.
Shut up, Logan. Nobody jerked your chain.
Sorry for being.
So that leaves. Does that just leave Cincy as the last of the 7 that we're doing on this one?
Yes.
Jason, why don't you start us off with Cincy? It sounds like I'm higher on. It sounds like I'm lower on some of the other teams than y'all are, and I'm higher.
Listen,
on
and there's no real way of knowing this, but I mean, because of the fact that it's a new coach, it's a new system. Satterfield's done some good things at Louisville over the last few years. I just don't see this dude as that good. And a lot of the things that I continue hearing about Scott Satterfield is that he's not that good. It's a terrible hire. I think that they obviously they win the game 1 against Eastern Kentucky, but then they're going to turn around and get beat the next week. I don't see them beating Pitt. Miami of Ohio, yeah, okay, you should win that one. I mean, but I think that's kind of a rivalry there too. I don't know. They should win it. They get beat by Oklahoma. There's no way that they freaking win on the road at BYU. First time out. I don't think that they've ever played them. I'm doubting that they ever have. And to go to Provo first time, there's no way they win that. Iowa State, this is one of those defensives that you're going to have to deal with. And because, again, Iowa State, I feel like this is a team that could very easily, a year ago, I was like, maybe. I predicted last year that either Iowa State or Kansas State was going to be a game wrecker for the top 3 teams, which were supposed to be Texas, OU, Baylor, and Okie Light would be the 4th.
Go Wildcats.
But I said that K-State or Iowa State was going to be a pain in the ass, and they were.
Iowa State almost got us in Ames.
They almost got Texas too, and they were with Oklahoma for most of the game. So I'm just saying, man, I wouldn't be that surprised to see Iowa State turn it around. I think that Matt's a good coach. But that being said, they should win that one for sure. Iowa State should beat them. Baylor's going to beat them. Okie Light loses to them, maybe. Yeah, Okie Light sucks. So UCF, yeah, they lose that one. Even though that's a rivalry game, I think that they lose. I just don't. They probably beat Houston, and they should beat West Virginia. They're going to get beat by Kansas. So, I mean, I only have them winning a few. I just don't think that highly of them.
What is that? What did that lead you with? What was their finish?
I think I had them winning 4. I got them winning 4.
See, 5. Yeah, I'm higher on Cincy than y'all, or maybe not Logan.
I think I have them winning 5 and 7.
I've got them winning Eastern Kentucky, losing to Pitt, beat Miami of Ohio, lose to OU. I was at BYU, Iowa State, and UCF are the 3 toss-ups. I've got.
Listen, these teams that haven't went to freaking Provo are not going to go out there and win. They're not.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll switch. You've convinced me. I'll switch that one. But the thing is BYU, because here's why I picked them to lose is okay. The environment, sure, but they're losing their quarterback. They're losing their offensive line. Like, are they just? It's okay if they suck
BYU,
because the
I get what you're
so
saying.
Great.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. Most of the guys that go to BYU go on a mission first. They're older than all these other kids.
Very familiar.
I'm telling you this, bro. These guys are freaking. These are not little kids. This is like, and I'm telling you, man. BYU's been very good. They stumbled some last year, but look at who they played. Look at who they played last year. They dealt with Arkansas. They played Notre Dame. They freaking, yeah. I mean, look,
They played us
Baylor?
till 2 a.m.
Look, dude, I'm just telling you that this is a team that and their coach is the real deal, by the way. And they've got a lot of backing. The fact that they were in the Mountain West and then they went independent, I'm going to tell you, until Utah went into the freaking Pac-10 and started getting recruits that they started getting, which it helped them, they won 9 out of 10 again. BYU beat them 9 out of 10 times.
I mean, I've got them beating BYU. I could see it being a toss-up, sure. I've got them beating Iowa State. I'm just higher on them. I honestly couldn't tell you why, but I've got them beating Iowa State. I've got them beating Baylor.
They were in the playoff 2 years ago, but it's just not the same team. If Luke was with them, I'd be with you on this.
Logan, before you
Luke
say
took
anything,
his stuff to Wisconsin, bro.
And here's the thing: is Cincy, like I said at the beginning, these new 4 teams, I've got a lot of toss-up games because I just don't know enough about them. But gut reaction, like I looked at stats, looked at who they played, how they won some games, and I feel like Cincy's going to be okay. I really do.
Who do they got coming back that's good?
You asking the wrong. You asking the wrong.
This is way too early. This is way too early.
I'm just saying
for us to argue like this for sure.
Look, when Big 12 media days come around, we see who travels and what the coaches say. But I've got them at the ceiling of 9-3, a floor of 6-6.
Wow,
I got them, man. Because I don't see Houston beating them. I don't see West Virginia beating them. I don't see Oklahoma State beating them. Miami and Eastern Kentucky. That's five. That's 5 right off the bat.
Yeah, I
could see Houston beating them.
I could see Houston beating them. I could. I don't necessarily see it, but I could see it.
They're not going to beat Kansas. They're not going to beat Oklahoma. They're not going to beat Pitt. And so when you look at the other games,
they're not beating Baylor. I think they beat. I think that they.
9-3 is the ceiling. That means that's their perfect season. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that Iowa State and Baylor are probably the two that I would say they Baylor I have trouble trusting because Dylan Doyle and Siaki Ika are gone.
They haven't dealt with the defense like Iowa State's going to throw up on. I'm just saying.
Yeah, they probably do lose to Iowa State. But Baylor, I want Baylor to win, obviously. But
I think Baylor
Siaki Ika, Dylan Doyle, and all your DBs are gone.
I'm surprised that Siaki. Oh man. Yeah.
Well, Siaka graduated.
Richard Reese. I mean, Richard Reese can carry, but man,
so can
I don't know.
Here's the thing about that. Let me ask you this too, or we can wait till after this is over. But go ahead. So, we got anybody left?
I think Logan has to go through Cincy, and then we're done.
I got Cincy at like 7-5, 6-6, roughly.
With a ceiling of what? 7-5, like that's their ceiling, or
I would say 8-4. Probably.
With who are their 4 losses in?
So in that scenario, Pitt, Oklahoma, Baylor, BYU.
So you don't think?
I'm not fully on
you
the
think
hype
they beat
train.
Iowa State?
I think they beat Iowa State because Iowa State only has one.
Deckers, though?
They only have one threat though, and that's that Jalen Noel.
Right.
Their defense, dude. I don't know, man.
They just lost their
10,
best defender. That probably should have been the defensive Big 12 Player of the Year.
No, Jalen Ford should have been.
Runner up. Yeah.
Jalen
Ford?
Calm down. Jalen Ford was nasty. He should have won.
Jalen Ford should have been the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, 100%.
I don't know, man. Iowa State's one of those teams that's like,
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, they're a lot better than they used to be. But
I'm not saying I'm picking Iowa State.
I'm
picking Iowa State to go pretty bad, but still.
Yeah. I think they're better than Cincinnati probably. But I just feel like it's going to be this is a hard adjustment. If you had Luke Fickell, it might be a hard adjustment.
Yeah.
Would I be surprised to see them miss the bowl game? No. Would I be disappointed? Right. Yeah, because I like the Bearcats. They're all right. I don't have any beef with them yet.
We'll see. Yeah. This is
not till you meet some Ohioans there at a game.
I don't plan on going to Ohio, so
if they were to come to Baylor or something, you know what I mean? So I would always say Cincy this year.
Yeah.
Just wait. But they're not OSU. They're not Ohio State fans, so it's not the same. But they're weird. Yeah. I'm gonna get us in trouble.
No,
Go
you're
ahead.
good. Let's I was just this is our we did Texas, Oklahoma, Baylor, and then the 4 new schools: Cincy, Houston, UCF, BYU. These are way too early. We're gonna do this again, probably like the end of July, beginning of August, maybe beginning of August. After Big 12 media days, after we see the next wave of transfer portal, we might have a better idea. Keep these though. Don't erase these if you change any of them. Keep them and then change other ways. That way we can see kind of how we've differed. With that being said, if y'all made it to the end of this video, appreciate y'all rocking with us for sure. Yeah.
We're gonna cut this up, right?
we're definitely gonna cut this up into this. Yeah, we're gonna cut it up some. We're gonna have another video eventually with the other 7 teams of the Big 12, and let us know down below if we talked about your team and we disrespected you. Let us know how. Right,
yeah,
especially if you're
that's my biggest thing for these new 4 schools is like I want to know what we're not seeing because I know there's got to be something that we're not seeing.
There's got to be something.
And I agree with that. And I'm not even really trying to bash on you. And honestly, as I said, I think a lot higher of BYU than Christian does. But I think it's just
probably hard to think
and I clearly look think a lot lower of
do it.
No, and the one thing I'll say is like as far as Cincinnati goes, if it wasn't for everything I'm hearing about Satterfield, I probably wouldn't be saying the same thing. Cincinnati's had a good program. I mean, Luke Fickell replaced he replaced Tuberville, but Tuberville was only there a little while, and it was Brian Kelly. Or Brian Kelly before that. So I mean, they've been a good program. There's a reason to believe that they would stay that way. That being said, I just don't. Wisconsin. They're about to air it out too. They're gonna,
The Big 10 is going to be something new for the Big 10.
Yeah, they might actually be able to do something, shock the world.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and close this out. It's been a long video. Appreciate y'all. If y'all need help with some insurance stuff, give Casey Crutcher a call at 903-948-5195 at Rollo Insurance. He can probably save you money on your home, auto, life, health, and business commercial insurance. Once again, we appreciate Jason over at Hall of Fame Media, College Football Podcast, jumping on here with us. Go check him out. Even if you're not an Oklahoma fan, he does a lot of content. He talks about college football landscape in general. He goes live. You can type in questions, and he'll talk about if it's got a football, he's going to talk about it. Doesn't matter what team.
We're even doing call-in shows now, so
yeah, there you go. So make sure y'all go give him a follow. His channel is blowing up, and we love to see that growth from him. So appreciate you rocking with us today, man.
Hey, man, thanks for having me on, fellas. I appreciate it. It was a good time.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. Talking to y'all later.
All right.
Till next time. Welcome.
Circle.